I've been really pleased with their work, their approach to it. It's a veteran group, even though a lot of the faces might be new to people, in our fan base. But, the guys who are our four top guys right now, they've played a lot of football, so they've approached their work with a real veteran attitude to it. And there's great competition. I've been really pleased with the consistency and the work ethic and the approach that they brought to this fall camp.
Have you settled yet? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Have you settled yet on punt return, kick return? Who are maybe some of the names in the mix?
We're getting really pretty close on both of those. We got. I feel really confident about a couple different guys at punt return. Jalen Lucas has been back there. Malik Benson's been back there. LaWayne McCoy's been back there. So that group has been really pretty good, and they all have different moments where they've really flashed. Same at kick returner. Deuce has some experience and had a good year a year ago. We have Jalen back there, and we have really a talented group of skill players that if we needed to could call on some depth there at that spot. So I feel good with where we're at from a kick return or punt return spot.
Marvin was August slow for about a week or so at start of camp. What has he shown as it started going, and just how impressed have you been over the 14 races?
Yeah, I thought Marvin really finished his spring real well. I thought he had a good summer. A little bit disappointed for him that he was kind of limited in those first 8 or 9 practices. But really, since he's been back, he kind of picked up where he left off. I don't really see any drop off. I don't see any nag to any injury with him. He's playing fast. He's playing hard. I like what I see out of Marvin to this point.
With Sione, does he give you a little something different than most of the other guys in that room?
Yeah, I think the room kind of complements each other. Sione's a big physical, tough presence, especially in the run game. He has some pass rush ability, obviously, but what he really has an ability is a change up for the physicality we can have at that end spot, especially against the run. And I like what he's done so far. He's a great person and a great worker.
Do you foresee Aaron Hester being a part of the rotation and getting on the field?
I do. What we typically do is we have 5 guys that are kind of in that ready rotation. The thing that's unique about Aaron is I do think he brings a legitimate pass rush skill set. Not that he isn't good against the run, because he is, but he does bring a skill set in the pass rush, and I do think we're going to be able to utilize him and get him kind of in that rotation, get him a role within the defense.
What kind of challenge? Georgia Tech's running game, they were very good at it last year. Quarterback can run. What kind of challenge did they present each one going up against?
Well, you always respect the team whose head coach has a offensive line background. So you can tell that the emphasis is going to be that they're going to establish the run game. They're good at it. They have the stretch schemes, they have the gap schemes, the counters, and they have the quarterback run element off of it. So you got to be really aware of your role, your responsibility in doing your job. And that's really been the major point of emphasis for our guys as we started our preparation for them and how we're going to defend the run. And we know it's going to be a challenge, but I think our guys are very excited about that challenge.
Pat's obviously really well established here, but what have you been impressed by with regards to him in the preseason?
Pat, I think there's 2 elements that I've been really proud of Pat's growth and development. Number one is he's working as if he's a backup. When he's out there, he's trying to be the best version of himself. He's not looking at it as I've already kind of established my role in this program and I'm just going to kind of get through camp. He's working, so that's number one. But 2, he's taking a leadership role within the unit, which is something that he's never really been asked to do before. Because of some of the other guys that were in the room, but now it's his room, it's Josh's room, it's those guys that it's their time to step up and take some ownership, and they've done a nice job with that.
You talked about 4 or 5 guys in that room. I presume Byron Turner is one of those that you're considering in that element. What has Byron done to continue to develop himself?
Byron has improved in every aspect of his life. And, it's probably kind of sounds silly to someone maybe that is hearing us talk for the first time, but we believe in this program that everything you do is tied together. He's gotten better as a football player. He's had his best semester academically. I'm going to brag on him. He's going to have his Seminole Scholar patch. He's got that 3.0. He was all ACC honor roll academically. And you could see that same thing in terms of growth and improvement in his life, in his game. He's stronger, he's bigger, he's more consistent, he's faster, and he's playing as well as I've seen him since he's gotten here. So I'm proud of what Byron's been able to do.
How much does it help when you have a head coach who cares so much about special teams? I'm talking about specifically like today. Like he's invested, he's involved, he's coaching. How much does that help make sure the players know, yeah, man, this is real, this is really important?
Having the head coach investment in special teams, I think, is probably the most critical part of establishing the culture of special teams, because from the top down of any organization, what the leader puts a priority on is usually going to be reflected in the work. He puts a major priority on how we're going to not only fundamentally be from a special team standpoint, but how we're going to execute, and that trickles down through the staff and through the players. So I feel really blessed to have the opportunity to work in a culture that's like this, because you want to be somewhere where what you're doing is an important piece of the puzzle.
Why is Pat so good at knocking down passes?
I think one is the obvious of length of, not only height but his length, but two, just that hand-eye coordination, his athleticism. Pat has it's hard to measure, but Pat has a really good football IQ. He has a good internal clock of when the hands go up and when it's time for that ball to come out. And he's a good athlete. Like, we do ball drills at the end of practice, and one of the things I do in ball drills is throw balls hard at them, because defensive linemen don't have that happen. But if you're ever going to be in a position in a game, usually it's not going to be someone lobbing, and it's going to be a hard throw. And he always, he has that innate ability to be a good athlete. So I think all those things tie together that allow that to happen.
The makeup of this offense, it feels like the run game might be a really big part of the success for you guys as a team. How important is it going to be for specialists like Ryan to convert, and then Alex being the weapon that he is for you guys?
Absolutely critical. I feel very fortunate that we have a situation where we have guys now coming back for 5th years in the program. Not a very common thing to happen at both the punter and the kicker spot, and the fact that they're both really good. Preseason award-winning nominated guys. So I think they're poised to have the best year they've ever had here, and everything that's happened in fall camp at this point is leading me to believe that that's going to be the case this year.
I presume you're not counting on him this year, but D.D. Holmes, what has he shown you since his arrival? How has he progressed in each of the practice?
I think my favorite thing about D.D. to this point is his improvement. I think his first day, especially the first day of contact, I think it's a little bit of a shock to the system for any defensive lineman who's making that transition from high school to college, and then just to see the growth and the play more faster, more physical, with more confidence as this camp has gone on. It showed up. He played with the second group in majority of the scrimmage last week, just because of how we were rotating guys, and he held his own in every way, and I thought he did a good job.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
I'll be good.